Alright guys, I just checked out some of the insanely unique fruit concepts that y'all been cooking up, and I definitely had to make a video about them. So basically, I'm going to review every single one of them and see if they could be possibly added to Blox Fruit. Since I'm not a dev, I cannot decide if they'll be added. However, I can let them know about your awesome ideas. Also, I started streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Go check out my Twitch, which is Zeolas_. Link will be in the description. Don't miss out because I do occasional giveaways on Twitch. Anyways, let's get straight to it. Alright, the first fruit that we have is the Steampunk Fruit by bomb.com 47. Alright, it's a mythical Blox fruit and it costs 3.5 million. Alright, the design already looks pretty lit. In my opinion, I like the clock around it and stuff. Alright, in base form, the user has a steampunk backpack with the gun attachment. This is used for the fruit's M1 steam blaster. The user releases a short range but wide blast of steam that deals damage and lingers for a bit. Alright, I can see that being cold. The Z, user launches a large ball of oil that splatters on targets, dealing damage, temporarily inking their screen and slowing them by 50% for 3 seconds. I mean, okay, if you ink somebody's screen, that is kind of broken, especially in PvP. We have the X move, which is rolling gears. The user releases 3 large gears that roll along the floor and crush targets, stunning them for 2 seconds. That's good. I like that. Alright, next we have the C move, which is industrial barrage. User's arms transforms into a golden Gatling gun, unleashing a barrage of nuts and bolts upon enemies, but forcing the user to be stationary. Alright, I like the fact that you have to be stationary while using that. I mean, technically in PvP it wouldn't be that crazy, but in PvE, I feel like that could be kind of fun. Just pulling out that big golden gat and just shooting everything in your way. And then you have the bronze flight. User's backpack transforms into a steam-powered jetpack, allowing flight and damaging anyone underneath them. Then we have the V move, which is mechanized. User's backpack transforms into a large mech, changing some of their moves. User gains 65% damage resistance, but loses 20% speed. So basically, you just transform or go into a mech. Alright, so the new move set for the transformation is M1 is going to be drill run. As part of their mech form, the user gains a drill that can be used to damage enemies at close range. So you melee now. X move is steam thrower. Holding down X allows the user to release a medium range of burning steam, dealing damage to enemies. User surrounds themselves with gears that block and deflect the next incoming projectile. This move can only stay for 5 seconds if no projectile hits them, allowing enemies to time their attacks and to maneuver around this move. I like the fact you deflect the next incoming projectile, but that also gives the enemy a chance to like play around it. Alright, so in PvP it'd be pretty alright. F is a stomp, an AoE attack where the user stomps on the ground, launching targets for a short distance in the air and stunning them. I mean, this one sounds like the combo starter. Alright, you knock them into the air, stunning them. Overall, it's a good fruit. Next up, we have a soap fruit by Japis Fruit. This one sounds crazy. Alright, so here we have the design. It's actual soap. It's a natural fruit, rarity rare, and it costs 900k. The Z move. That's a long description, right? The Z move is called Fast Wash. The Z is a forward tackle with hands covered in foam. Upon contact with the enemy, it covers them with the foam while rubbing them aggressively. It ends with a slight push, leaving the target stunned in front of you. Only attack one target. It sounds valid. You can see a little picture right here of like how the move is gonna be. I'm gonna be honest right now. I heavily doubt this is ever coming to Blox, but this is funny. Foam sheep. You turn into a foam sheep, then dash forward, ending in a medium radius explosion. The attack is long distance. Alright, so basically you just dash forward and explode and just put soap all over them. Alright, so the X move has 2 versions, the quick tap and the holding version. By keeping the movement charged, all the foam that covers you will launch them as fast projectiles that will explode and stun your enemy as medium distance. So this basically turns the move into a long distance move. Alright, then you have the C move, which is a shield. You will become invincible for 3 seconds, during which time you are invulnerable to any damage but cannot move. If you do it in the air, you will stay floating. Okay, so basically you just turn into a piece of soap and you become invincible. You can also use it in the air and stay in the air. Alright, that's pretty cool. Clean wave creates a large wave of foam in the shape of a vortex, which stuns the players by spinning them around you, eventually ending up in the center with you. It can be done in the air and has medium distance. It's pretty cool. And then you have the bounce bubble. You lock yourself in a bubble that bounces at high speed. It doesn't bounce off the water. The higher you launch yourself, the higher you will bounce. Okay, that's a cool movement move, like a bouncing ball. Alright, Overall, it's a funny fruit design. It could be valid too. All right, next up we have the Wyvern Fruit by Wyvern. He did it based off his own name. Wyvern, which is a mythical beast type, and it costs 4.5 million. The design is cold. I like the design. It's really cold. Here's the icon. I like that. All right, here we go. The Z move is called Chilling Mist. You can see the picture of what it does right here. The user inhales a large breath and leans forward, letting out a shimmering blow of frosty mist, sending a freezing chill through the air and slowing anyone caught in it. It does damage and it slows them down. So it has a stun, but it's very, very weak. And next up, we have the X move. The user's left talon is engulfed by an icy flame. They then slash at a nearby enemy, freezing them in a thin layer of ice and leaving them stunned. The user then turns around in a quick movement and bashes the opponent with a large tail, breaking the layer of ice but dealing a large amount of damage. Alright, that was pretty strong, my boy. C is a dragon guard. The user's wings appear and they use it to help shield themselves from incoming attacks, reducing damage taken by 42 point. That's a specific amount. 42.5% after taking up to 3,500 damage or releasing the move. The user unfolds their wings, shooting out tiny frozen scales, which deal a small amount of damage. Pretty good. I mean, I like the block moves. It's pretty cool. You can see the picture right here. F is a flight move, as always. Large wings grow and unfold out of the user's back, allowing the user to soar through the skies with grace. The user can fly in any direction using the WASD keys. Other Wyvern moves can be used while hovering mid-air, so you can fly and use your moves mid-air. Alright, and here we got the transformation. So we have the Z move, Frost Blast, dealing 433.66 damage per second, a maximum of 2,600. It does a chem break, and also the user lowers their jaw, expelling a freezing gust of icy wind, blasting their opponents and leaving them with a burning chill as they slowly take damage each second, unable to escape. Alright, the design is cold. I like it. Alright, let me know in the comment section down below which one is your favorite fruit. I'm gonna go through all of them right here. Alright, next up we have the Energy Fruit by Wyvern09. Alright, here's the design. It's pretty cool. I like the yellow and the purple aura. The passive has an energy meter. Every time you hit an enemy NPC with the skill, you replenish a certain amount of stamina that comes from the enemy's stamina bar. The energy meter can affect the damage, range, and performance of the user's skills and abilities. And when the energy meter is high, the user speed will increase. Reminds me of sound, but it's alright. Next up, we have the Z move. This skill will allow the user to shoot continuous energy blasts that will deal damage to enemies or NPCs. So basically, it's like the X move of light. The damage of the skill will also depend on the energy meter. So the more energy you have, the more damage you will do. So you better stack up the energy. Then we have the X move, Rings of Force. The skill has a tap version and the whole version. Alright, the tap version of the skill will unleash a powerful shockwave that will destroy its surroundings and will also deal a great amount of damage to nearby enemies and NPCs. The whole version of the skill will be more on the defensive side. It will be to reduce the damage taken from the attacks of enemies and NPCs. In this state, you are frozen into place, but you will not be interrupted by attacks. Then you have the C move, Plasma Incarceration. When the skill is activated, the user will create a 2 energy boomerang and then throw them at the enemy or NPC. After an enemy or NPC has been hit with this energy ring, it will trap them inside a plasma ball and will continuously damage them. I wonder if this is like a stun move or something like that. We would have to look into this, but the design is cool. I like the fact that you throw boomerangs. It's a really, really good combo starter. And then you have Electromagnetic Annihilation, which is the V move. This is the ultimate move of the Energy Fruit. When the skill is activated, the user will create a big zone, like the control area of the Control Fruit. In this zone, there will be energy rings that will rotate and spin rapidly, and it will deal an insane amount of damage to enemies or NPCs. But the range and damage of the skill will depend on the energy meter. You want to use this move when you have the most energy possible, so you can maximize the output. I'm guessing it will be a lot of damage once you have max energy. And then you have the F move, which is Energy Aviation. This is the flying ability of the Energy Fruit. It has 2 versions of flying. When you have low energy, this version is like having a rocket booster on the feet, which is a normal flight. This version is a gliding or surfing on an energy ring. So it basically turned into the Silver Surfer, you feel me? I like this fruit a lot. It has a valid design. I wish it would be more specific on some of the moves. The overall design is clean. I'll definitely let the devs know about these fruits. What? Ain't no way. So we got the Dandr Fruit by Yorsum3L. Alright, the first move is a Z. A giant beast of dandruff emerges from the user's head or hair, increasing the user's M1 range and damage. It's basically a stand. The other attacks of this fruit can only be used if this transformation is activated. Alright, so you basically have to have this big ball of dandruff behind you to use any of your moves, because it says the attacks from this fruit can only be used if the transformation is activated. Alright, it's second move, not second move. All right, in this attack, the Dandr beast throws its pieces which are alive at the target. The pieces out attract the target until they disappear after a certain amount of time, or until they hit the player, deals decent amount of damage. All right, so you basically just throw the big Dandr beast at them. Thirst move, which is the third move, my boy. The Dandr beast grabs the target and squeezes it, dealing an insane amount of damage. So basically, you're just getting grabbed and yoinked by a big piece of Dandr. That's kind of nasty. This fruit kind of special. All right, so then we have the V move. The Dandr beast throws its head at the target. When the head hits a target, it attaches to it, causing an effect similar to Venom's poison, but causing even more damage than the poison. Forget Venom. I'm better. All right. After using this attack, the user will stay 10 seconds without being able to use any of the fruit attacks. All right, that's kind of broken, my boy. That's broken. 10 seconds without being able to use any fruit attacks. You're basically, in those 10 seconds, you can just kill them. So then we have the F move, the Dandr launch. Dandr beast launches itself along with the user, leaving a crater in the ground. Whoever is in this area will take a huge amount of damage. Overall, it's a funny fruit. And then we have the Vector Fruit by Kerbit. This is hurting my eyes, but I'm gonna try. It's the Vector Fruit. It's a legendary fruit. It costs 26 million. You're crazy. The tap move is plot point. You basically shoot something out of your hand, and I don't even know. This is all right. Let's just look at it like a design was, because I cannot tell you what is going on for real. This is just like an overall design without a description, so it's leaving me in the dark. I mean, the moves look pretty cool. It's like you're shooting vectors the whole time. It covers your body. It looks like you have a vector body right here. The C is a razor. All right, I have no idea what's going on. And the V is predetermined death, which basically looks like you're just shooting a bunch of vectors up into the sky and they come back down at the enemy. Then you have the X move, which is a shield, a vector shield, and then you have the Z move, which is a vector arrow. You just shoot an arrow. So I'm guessing the tap is the M1, so you shoot vectors at people. And then the F is like you ride on the vector. Okay, I get it now. It's overall looks cool. I wish you described the stuff more. All right, so we have the fruit model, which is the Nightmare Fruit. It's a type beast. The fruit looks cold. That is honestly a cold fruit design. If we ever add this, I hope we do. I hope the devs see this and like, yep, we're gonna cook. This design it's cold. We have the Z move, which is Dream. It looks like you launch like 3 typhoons or tornadoes. All right, so the X move looks like you shoot out Nightmare. Those monsters through them, I guess. That looks painful. That looks really painful. And then the C move looks like a AoE move. You launch a lot of ghosts or whatever those are. And then you have the V move, which is the ult, which is Nightmare Shade. Looks like you just transform. Doesn't change your moves at all, but it gives you a buff to damage, resistance, and agility. It's very good. A Rose Fruit by Dynamis0715. It's a rose fruit. It's an elemental mythical. It costs 3.1 million. Here we go. The user throws out seeds on the ground on a 3-second cooldown, which will sprout into a decently sized rose with a circular bed of thorns surrounding it, which will deal damage to those standing within it. These roses will fill up the bloom meter, which directly affects the V size and damage output. A single rose is capable of filling up 1/6 of the bloom meter over 6 seconds before detonating in their own small AoE explosion. Bloom meter does not deplete unless a user dies. So you also have a meter with this fruit, but it's better than the other ones, I guess, because this one does not go down. You can fill it up 1/6 with a single rose. All right, next up we have the Rose Storm. User raises one hand forward, sending forth a barrage of spiraling rose petals through the air, broken into 3 projectiles, which travel a far distance. So it's a long distance, a snipe pretty much. Each individual projectile deals low damage, but together would reach moderate moderate offensive capabilities. All right, so you want to hit all 3 projectiles. Then next up we have soaring petals, turning themselves into a swirling mass of rose petals. The user is granted the ability of flight. The speed is equivalent to flame flight. It scales to travel twice as fast when the bloom meter is full. So you fly like flame until the bloom meter is full, and once the bloom meter is full, you fly really fast. As you can see, it has a visual passive, the roses bloom where the user walks. All right, it's pretty good. All right, so this one kind of reminds me of dough. So basically you grab on them, yoink them, and then spin them in a circle before slamming them in the ground. And then you have reap what you sow. A circular indicator is shown on the ground when the user holds V, displaying where the ultimate will be used. So again, it's one of those fruits where you want to have a full meter to get the maximum damage and use of the ult. It's like the dough move where it sprouts on the ground and it grabs onto you, but this one has a twist to it. So it goes up, grabs onto you, and explodes. All right. I really like this one a lot. And next up, we have the Moon Fruit by Dandr 9026, which is a legendary fruit. All right, so we have the passive, which gives you high jumps and gunshot immunity. So you're immune to gunshot. 0 gravity. The user dashes towards the enemy, grabbing him and launching him into the sky with 0 gravity. Almost 5 meters. Upon reaching that height, he quickly falls into the ground. The X reverse pulls. User creates a shockwave that knocks enemies away and immobilizes them for 2 seconds. So you knock them away, and not only do you knock them away, you also stun them for 2 seconds. So next up we have the C move, which is rotation. The user grabs the enemy and spins on its axis 3 times and then throwing the enemy to the ground. And then we have the F move, which is a big step. The user takes a 0 gravity jump and then goes straight ahead high. Overall, it's a decent concept. I like it, but I feel like it would be hard to implement to the game. The Helios Fruit by Misty Stakes. A one-hit dash move that creates a whip which slashes horizontally. It can hit several opponents at once, has a wide sideways and forwards range. I mean, I can see how this works. You dash forward and do a big slash. And we have the X move, which is Plasma Ball. A multi-hit explosion move that does a decent amount of damage, can be held to increase AoE. So basically you can either tap X, which does a smaller explosion, or you can hold X and it does a bigger explosion. Anyone inside gets stunned during the ability, including the user, for a short period of time. Alright guys, the code for this video is going to be on screen. It's a 20-minute EXP code. Make sure you use it as soon as possible because it expires in 1 week, and if you don't use it in that time frame, you're going to miss out. Alright, let's get back to the video. C is System Orbit. A multi-hit hold 'em a move that causes anyone that gets hit to be drawn closer to the user, as well as providing a decent amount of stuns. So you have 2 stuns, is what you're telling me. I mean, that's good. You do multiple hits. Anyone that gets hit gets drawn closer to you, and it stuns them. I mean, basically them getting pulled into you is considered a stun. I'm guessing that's what he means. And then you have the V move, which is Primordial Ray. A massive multi-hit beam of light that deals devastating amounts of damage in a similar fashion to Spirit V or Awakened Spider V. Oh, okay, so that's definitely gonna be a long range move then. Actually, I don't think Spider V has that much range, but it looks like it's gonna deal a lot of damage. A one tap move, so you can't aim it while after casting, so you tap it and it's done. Overall, good fruit, I think. And then we have the Atomic Fruit by Deleted User. I'm sorry, but your user is gone, so no credits to you. The Atomic Fruit, price 3.4.5 million. The Atomic Fruit will give you the power of nuclear energy. Player can be able to control and create chemical acid, which can make any object into a nuclear weapon. And then you have the move set and the description. You also have a chemical meter like every other fruit in this thing. Any blocks removed will fill 7% for the meter. All right, so the move designs are actually really good. I like the designs. So the Atomic Spear also works on the ground. You shoot spears at the enemy and it explodes. If you shoot the ground, it explodes like right here. If you shoot the enemy, it doesn't explode, it just hits them directly. All right, so then you have the X, which is a radioactive zone. You charge it up AoE, as you can see. Both of them got hit at the same time. And then you have the C move, which is a Staunch Lockdown. It releases spikes from the ground, like nuclear spikes, I'm guessing, radioactive spikes, and holds the enemy. I wish I had a description, my boy. And then you also can use in the air, and if you use in the air, it just locks them. It's basically a stun move. And then you have the V move, which is the ult. Charge up all the energy. It's like a big burst of energy right here. All right, it looks good. And then you have the Wax Fruit. The Wax Fruit is a rare fruit. Costs 700k and it's natural. All right, Wax Sword. The user conjures a shimmering blade of solidified wax, delivering a swift strike that melts upon impact. So you have the Z move. User shapes the sword into a spear, launching it with the speed and precision. Okay, so basically this fruit is going to be all about changing the wax types and stuff. The X move, user launches a scorching torrent of molten wax, launching it forcefully towards their intended target. Then the C move, user covers a small area in a shimmering field of molten wax, creating a hazardous zone. Opponent caught within suffer continuous moderate damage over time and are slowed by sticky residue. Alright, I like that. This one's a good move. That sounds fun. The Waxen Hero. Yep, which is a V move. User transforms into a formidable force for 30 seconds. This move enhances the user's strength, defense, and agility. Alright, I like that. It's pretty cool. And then user transforms their body into a spherical mass of wax, rolling and bouncing through obstacles and enemies with increased defense. Pretty good fruit. I can see this being added to block suits, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so this is gonna be the last one I'm gonna do for this video. Snake Fruit, Model Crimson Serpent by Sorad Kato. Mouse button tap, basically M1s. So basically with your M1 you can click and pull someone towards you if you aim right. This one has to have a long cooldown. This one cannot be a spammable M1. Definitely not. Flesh Bone Drill. When someone gets hit by this, they also get stunned for 1.5 seconds and bleed. The X move is Harsh Bloodstorm, unleashing crystal blood out of his body at the same speed as a Gatling gun. After unleashing so much, it becomes a Bloodstorm, a barrage that stuns. Okay, so this is an edgy fruit. You unleash a lot of blood out of your body, and then after unleashing so much, it becomes a Bloodstorm, a barrage that stuns. So basically you stun them with your blood. Sea Eater of Flesh summons a puddle of blood. Miniature Crimson Serpent comes out and munches the targeted enemy. F move is Fiend Wings, sheds out a wing that's made with 2 times the muscle. So it's basically wings made out of muscle. V Crimson Serpent, Crimson Snake form, an abomination of bones and muscle tissues. User gets engulfed by muscle and prepares to turn into an abomination serpent. In this form, you have 2 times the defense and damage reduction, as well as an increased regen and increased damage and AoE. You can travel through water in this form very fast. Transform skills, heavy sharp tail whip. User whips its tail very hard. It has a very big hitbox. It can hit multiple enemies at once. Alright, that's pretty valid. The X move, Harsh Bloodstorm. User opens its mouth and creates a vortex that sucks in energy. Then after that, it will be released the energy and create a huge cloud, creating a bloodstorm coated in aura. Eater of Flesh transformed. User roars in serpent form, stunning nearby enemies. If there's a very near player that has been stunned, it will then get captured and crunched hard. So basically you just munch on them. You're gonna start munching on them, as you can see right here. That's a very, very good fruit. I like that. Alright, that's gonna be it for this video. If you want to see part 2, let me know in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you go crazy and like button, subscribe as well. Enjoy your day. Alright, peace.